Yes. Yes. I
Uh,
start now.
okay,
You can
let's
begin.
start. Okay, it's my pleasure. Okay, it's my pleasure. Do, do you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, we can hear you very
Okay.
well.
Yes.
Okay. It's my pleasure to extend a cheerful welcome to you all. Your presence makes us very happy. My name is Daniel. Uh, Hello. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Manager. Okay. Hello. Do you hear
Yes.
my
Yes.
voice? Okay. 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 I would
Yes.
like
Yes.
to introduce our guest and welcome Miss, Mr. Behzad. Behzad. Okay. Mr. Behzad, who is our known in Iran. He has been working in teaching field since 2005. He entered education from Ministry of Education since 2001. He had many participations in. He has first played in period teaching festival in Iran. Okay. Uh, okay. Okay. Let's start our welcome our guest. Okay. Miss Shawqia. Shawqia.
Yes. 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 I hear you now. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, yes, I will start a video. Sorry.
Okay.
Let's begin with our video. Bismillah. Yes, another time we welcome our guest speaker from Iran, Mr. Behzad Zamani. He will talk in this meeting about games in teaching vocabulary. As you know, it is a very fruitful and very essential way to use gamification in teaching many skills, especially vocabulary, as it has a great impact on our students' upgrading and efficiency. So before we begin with our guest, and thank you, Mr. Behzad, for accepting our invitation for the
Yeah.
sixth of webinar in Arab English Teachers Association. I am Shawqia Hawawre from Palestine. I am the president of this association, and thanks for Ms. Dania Korani from Syria, who is the managing editor, and all the participants. Welcome you all from all over the world. Welcome. Let's watch and enjoy this video. Thank you for watching. And now let's start with our guest. Welcome another time, Mr. Behzad. Thank you for joining our webinar. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I don't know if I'm mistaken with the pronunciation of your name. Just let me know because I don't know exactly how I should pronounce your name, Shawqia or
No.
Shawqia. I don't know exactly.
Shawqia.
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 With T.
Yeah, Shawqia. Yeah, thank you, Shawqia. Yeah, thank you, dear president. I'm more comfortable actually actually with this your title as the president of this great community of great English teachers among those great Arabic countries. And I have been privileged and I have been actually honored to be here as your guest. Thanks for inviting, and I hope and I try to make this session as fruitful as possible on the path of your teaching and on the path of actually helping our students with something that they're doing with their learning. Okay, I just because I'm not able to upload my file, and if it would be possible to upload the slides, I would be appreciated, and yeah, gonna be great. And just, oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, really. Okay.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, just dear guest, I see lots of great names among our participants and attendees actually in this session. If I'm audible and actually you have my face and you have my voice, please type one in the chat box as a first actually interaction that we want to make here. Just if you can hear me, just type one in the chat box. I want to be sure that I'm audible and as well as actually you have my face. Just type one in the chat box if you have, like me. I've done first actually. Yeah. Yeah, you well. Thank you, dear Golshan. Okay. And other guys, hope you have my voice well. Okay. So let's get started and go to my first slide. I don't know how should I actually go forward for my next slide, and uh yeah, if I can have access to this capability of moving forward of the files, I would be appreciated. I don't know really how to manage it. Can we go to the next slide, please? Oh, thank you. And next one, please. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. First of all, okay, we want to get familiar with the aims of the session. You know, as a teacher, that for each session we will have some aims based on the lesson plan that you're familiar with. I'm sure, okay, you know ins and outs of lesson planning. When you want to run a session, surely you want to start from a point and then actually you want to go to an end. And from here, what are the aims of the session? By the end of the session, you will be able to, first of all, define lexes. And the next aim, please. Know what the steps are in teaching lexes or lexical resources, as well as what are CCQs and how they are made as you're teaching lexical resources in your classes. And what are the different aspects of lexicals, lexes? Okay, because you know they have different aspects. You want to get familiar and familiarize with those actually different aspects. But my first question is here, before going through the definition of vocabulary, my first question is here. Just please wait a sec, please. Thank you so much. As a teacher, dear President, all the attendees are our teachers here in this meeting. Dear presidents, all of our teachers. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
of course.
Okay. Okay.
Of course. Thank
Yeah. So my first question is here, guys, dear friends. Okay. How many lessons do we have when you open a book and you want to start teaching? Usually we are facing two types of lessons. Okay. What are those two types of lessons that usually our students are going to be exposed or we are going to be faced when we start teaching? Let's know the answer to this type of. Can you please type the answer in the chat box, please, everyone? Two types of lesson that usually we should know as a teacher, because when you open each kind of book, it doesn't matter, English result, headway, top notch, speak out, and so on. I can call on and on, okay? But usually we have two types of lessons. What are those two types of lessons that usually we are facing? Just type your answer in the chat box, please. Thank you so much. I'm waiting. Two types of lessons. Okay. Yeah, some people are typing. Thank you so much. I'm waiting. Okay, no answer. Okay, I would answer the question. Okay, you have two types of lesson. As a teacher, we must know it. I'm sorry to say must, but really it's a must. Okay, and what are they? Skill lessons and language lessons. Two types of lesson. When we open, actually, every type of book doesn't matter what the book is, but normally you're facing, and you can see these two types of lessons: a skill lesson and language lesson. So, can you tell me uh, what are those skill lessons that usually we should teach in our classes? Just please type them in the chat box if you can help me with your answers. Thank you so much. Skill lessons. When we are teaching a lesson, okay? When you're teaching a unit, usually you have four skills that you need to teach in that lesson. And surely you know they are speaking and writing, as well as reading and listening. Okay? So, speaking, writing, reading, and listening, there are skill lessons. Now, can you tell me what are those language lessons? Can you help me with this part of the question, actually? What are those language lessons that as a teacher I should teach in a kind of in unit? Or maybe you want to teach that unit in 3, 4, 5 sessions, or maybe you want to teach that unit, for example, just, I mean, in 2 or 3 sessions. It doesn't matter, no problem. But just tell me, what are those language lessons that we are facing? Okay, no problem. Okay, I want to write them. They are surely number one, vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. So now you can open the book. I don't know. I have a question here. Please answer my question, please, everyone. What books do you usually teach? I mean, what's a series? I mean, do you teach headways, top notch, speak out, English results. What series? I don't know, teenage book like Big English, Family Friends. What series of books do you usually teach? Interchange? I don't know. Can you help me with this? With this question or no? Just tell me what kind of books you are teaching in your classes. Okay, no answer. No one is going to help me with actually the answer of this question. That what kind of or what books do you usually teach in your,
There
class?
are answers. There are answers in the chat box.
Ah, yeah, I don't see. Okay, thank you. I'm waiting. I'm waiting, sure. Okay. Yeah. Can you see, dear President, can you see my typing on the chat box or no? Is it visible?
Yes.
Ah, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I thought maybe I'm not typing is not visible, but it is. Okay. So if you can, because I can't see your typing on the chat box and the answer that you're sharing with me on the page, okay? I don't know, the problem goes with me or goes with the page, or maybe no one has typed anything. Okay. I just want to know what books do you teach in actually? I just want to know what books you teach in
Yes.
your.
Some say school books English file.
Mhm.
Another one say first present new words, give synonyms, vocabulary in use, select readings. Mr. Al Hassan says English in life. Zubun Zio said I used to teach headway. Dr. N communication. Miss Marwa, where is the code? Which code, you Miss Marwa?
Okay, but
Uh,
I
yes,
I I
core box,
see. No, I
English for
can't
first
see your
time.
type. Why is that?
What?
I
Sorry.
can't see your typing. Lots of friends have typed their answers, but
Yeah.
I'm not able to see it. What's the problem?
Why? Why?
I don't know.
The first time you wrote and I saw you writing. Now try in the chat box. For all, write for all. Maybe you are writing for someone,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
for everyone in the meeting. Okay?
Yeah, but it's a type message to continue because when I type usually you see, but I'm not in a private chat with anyone. But one more time, okay? Show meeting details, show device setting, okay?
No, in
Uh,
the chat. The
I know
chat.
in the
Choose
chat.
the
Yes, I
chat
just
and everyone in the meeting. Put a tick, press on it, and then you can write, and we all will see.
uh-huh. Okay. I have show
The first
participant
time I
here
saw.
and
Yes.
okay, more actions and nothing else I have here, unfortunately. And I really need to have I mean because maybe I'm attendees. If you can uh
No,
make me a presenter, maybe this problem gonna be
I mean,
I'm a guest because
yes.
you can change
So,
my possession from guest
yes. I
to
will.
presenter. Maybe it works.
Raise your hand, please. Raise your hand in order to see you,
Yeah, yeah, sure. I raised
please.
my.
Yes, sorry. Yes,
Okay.
now you presenter. You can
Present.
write.
Yes.
Yes.
And I
Good.
think now I'm visible. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Now
Thank you
you
so.
can write.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's visible now. I have an access to
Yes.
all parts of the story. Very good. Okay, so I was talking about actually two aspects of the lesson that we are teaching. Actually, we have a language lesson and we have a skill lesson. Those skills that we are teaching are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And those language lessons that usually we teach in our classes are vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation, as well as actually a function. But these three are the most frequent and prevailing types of language lesson that usually we teach in our classes. But my question is here, what's the difference between language lesson and a skill lesson? Just type your answer in the chat box, please, everyone, and I would be appreciated. Okay, what's the difference between a language lesson and a skill lesson, first of all? Still, I can see.
Can you write it in the chat, please?
Me?
Yes, you write please the question in the chat box in
Uh,
order to make
yeah,
them
sure.
more active.
Yeah, sure. What's the difference between a language lesson and a skill lesson? Yeah, that's my question. But still,
Yes, thank you.
you're welcome.
Yes, so you can interact by writing or by raising your hand, please,
Yeah, I
and
know.
talk.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, for the
Sure.
participants.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. But still, I can't see the chat box. I mean, when other guys are typing, I don't know why I can't see it.
Yes.
What's the
Yes, I see it. I see it. Miss May says language lessons are deeper and involves more detailed items in the language.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a good answer. But still, there is a big difference. I don't know. Have
Yes.
you ever read?
Miss Neba, sorry. Miss Neba also says skill lesson integrates four skills. Miss Lena says skill lesson more like human skills like listening and speaking. Al Hassan says in skill lesson we focus on listening, reading, speaking, and writing.
Bravo, bravo. Good answer. Good answer. Thank you so much. Moreover, thank you
Yes,
for your
maybe
nice.
maybe also in the language lesson, maybe there is concentration on the use and the form, or in the form mainly. But in the skill lesson, it is your skill in, for example, in using this language in within context.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. One guy is raising her hand here, and I don't know
Yes.
who
Miss
it
Also,
is.
Miss
Safa, Miss
Tuba
Safa,
say
Miss
بس
Safa.
معلش شوية دانيا بس شوية
Okay.
نقرأ اللي في الشات وبتنتقلي للي رافعين ايديهم. Mr. Ruba says maybe the first one is tied to the lesson itself, but skilled language could be more humanities. Miss Naba
Mhm.
added, language lesson focuses on all language aspects. Yes, Miss Dania, شوفي please.
Okay, Miss Safa. Miss Safa. Unmute yourself. Okay.
Um, okay, good evening for everyone.
Good
I
evening.
think there's a big difference between teaching language and teaching a skill. So when I say teaching language, it means teaching the structure of the language, how to build or to form a sentence correctly, or a question, how to form a question correctly. So I mean here, I deal with the basics of the language itself. So
Oh,
there's a relationship between the words, the vocabulary themselves. But when I say teaching skill, it means here that I focus here on the four language skills, which are integrated together, and sometimes we focus on reading skill, on writing skill, on speaking skill, on listening skill. So we have here productive, and we have here receptive skills. So it depends here, but there's a big difference between teaching the language itself, as we hear it from the people of this language. And I mean here to teach the language also, it means language acquisition. So it's very important here.
Thank you
Also,
so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for a nice, actually, academic clarification and elaboration that you have made. It was really great, and such a nice words that you have shared with us. As other dear actually participants and attendees, that they have given us really nice, great answers as well. But still there is a very important difference here. When we talk about a language lesson, it's the matter of knowing. It's the matter of knowledge. Yeah, you want to give your students some knowledge of vocabulary. You want to give your students some knowledge of grammar, and you want to help them simultaneously to put them in practice. So when we say language lesson, it is the matter of knowledge and knowing. But when we talk about skill lessons, it's the matter of doing. So knowing, doing. There are two words. Language lesson is the matter of knowing, but a skill lesson is the matter of doing. And a combination of these two helps our students to be a proficient and great learner. Otherwise, for example, me as a learner, I want to read lots of, I don't know, vocabulary books. I want to read lots of grammatical books. It doesn't suffice. It can't help me to be a great English speaker, English reader, English writer, or English listener, because they are the matter of doing. It's like swimming, it's like driving, it's like playing the piano. No one is going to be a great swimmer with reading lots of books about swimming. I can't drive a car well with reading lots of, for example, books about driving. So the first lesson is here that we need to help our students as or simultaneously or concurrently that they're facing with some English knowledge, they should learn how to put them in practice. And it is such a kind of lack in our classes. And tonight, I try to cover as much as I can about this part of the story. And moreover, in addition, we need to know that English as a lexical language. I mean, learn English lexically. It's the name of a book, actually. I don't remember exactly the author. But when you know lots of vocabulary, if you can learn our students to learn the vocabulary well, it can be great help. And even how to learn the vocabulary and how help our students to move the vocabulary from their short memory to their long memory. It's a long story that I try to cover as much as I can tonight. So, dear President, can we go to one slide back? Thank you so much. Another one, and one more. Thank you so much. So, it's the one definition of vocabulary, and you know that we have a great deal of definition about vocabulary. But as you can see here, it can be defined roughly, not exactly, as the words in the language, But it may include terms that are more than a single word. And as a teacher that learning vocabulary as a single word really doesn't help our students, because it doesn't guarantee that they can put it in practice later easily. So how I can teach the vocabulary in a way that can be easily used and utilized by my students later is a really important item here. And the term vocabulary is also sometimes taken to include grammatical items, because you know it's a matter of part of a speech. Because when you take a look at a new word, for example, it has a pronunciation, it has a part of a speech, it has some collocation, and you know collocation is an essential part of language learning, because it is observed, it is witnessed that sometimes it is ignored by teachers, unfortunately. But I should know collocation is a must in English teaching and learning. My students try and should be familiar, and they need to learn to see how the words come together, because it's going to help them to be more fluent in both productive skill, I mean speaking or writing. Okay, and so next slide please. Thank you. Yeah, and different aspects of vocabulary knowledge. You know, when we talk about a lexical item, a vocabulary, a new word can be written or spoken form. Yeah, you know that some vocabularies and some words are spoken and some words are written. And they are something that I should help my students with, because later when they come to some high levels and they want to participate in, I don't know, some exam like IELTS, TOEFL, PET, CAT, and so on and so forth, they have some confusion, and you can see that sometimes simply they're confused about using those words appropriately. And you know, different vocabulary have different meaning. Okay, you know, a word has one, two, three more meaning, and it comes from the most usual common meaning to less common meaning, that usually when we use, for example, run is a vocabulary that everyone know what it means, okay, when we run, okay. But when I use run as a run a factory, run a company, especially run a factory or run a workshop, is a kind of less common meaning of the word. That's by itself is the kind of thing that I should teach my students about them. So collocation, grammar, connotation, and denotation. You know what's the difference between denotation and connotation, dear participants? If you know the difference, just please type your answer in the chat box in one or two words, please, not a long one. I don't have any access to the, I mean, chat box to see what you're typing, unfortunately. I don't know why. I can see something that I'm typing, not more. Ah, now I have it. Thanks God. Thanks God. Okay. To guess the meaning of the words. Thank you, Golshan. Okay. In the context, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And find synonyms, make sentences using new words. Yeah, it's one part of the story, dear Golshan, when you help your students to guess the meaning of the new words. Because I want to talk about three different approaches that we need when we are teaching a vocabulary, when you are teaching a new word. Okay, those three most common approaches in teaching vocabulary. Okay, thank you. Next slide, please. Thank you. So I want to go to the definition of connotation and denotation. So you can see here some aspects of vocabulary knowledge, pronunciation and spelling. The first part of the story is meaning, and after meaning, you want to go through pronunciation and a spelling that is called form, and then meaning, denotation. Denotation is the most usual meaning of a word. So the first real meaning, the first normal meaning, common meaning, frequent meaning that comes from a word, it is denotation. So I have a question. I have a question. Yeah, denotation gives the meaning exactly. Thank you, Wafa. Yes, you're right. Now look at the word. I'm sorry with my throat. Okay, I need a glass of water, I think. Muhammad Reza. Muhammad Reza. یا آب برای من میاری؟ Okay, so you can see here is the matter of denotation. Look at this word, please. A spinster. Okay, you know the word. So a spinster. So can you tell me what does it mean as a denotation? What does it mean? Spinster. Thank you. Thank you. Riz. Okay, if I'm right, Riza. Okay, Vafa.
Hello.
Thank you. So unmarried man or woman, Riza? Unmarried man or woman? Yeah.
Rizq. His name
Risk.
is Rizq.
Risk.
Rizq.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so
Yes.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
No
Okay,
problem.
unmarried woman risk. Thank you so much. Yeah, single old lady. So it is a denotation. Now my question is here. For example, I have a sister, she's 16 or she's 18. Can I say that my sister is a spinster or no? To address her as a single girl. No, why not risk? Why not?
Rizq, you can, Dr. Rizq, you can open your mic and talk.
Dr. Aziz. Yeah, dear Dr. Resk. Okay, yeah. No, too
Yes.
young. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Dr. Resk, yeah, age. Okay, she's still young. Okay, but not, yeah, she's still young. But do you know what the problem is here? Is the matter of connotation. Denotation is the normal meaning. Yeah, she's single. Okay. But connotation, the connotation of this word gives you a kind of disapproval. It gives you a negative meaning. Disapproval, and it gives you a negative meaning. Means a girl who is old and unmarried. So I cannot say my 20 years, for example, 20 years old sister is a spinster. And moreover, it is dated, obsolete, not common anymore. So when you talk about denotation, it's the normal meaning that the word give. But when you talk about connotation, it is the second meaning that implies not
Maybe, sorry for interruption, maybe like literal meaning and non-literal meaning,
exactly
denotation and
their
connotation.
residence. Yes,
Yes.
literal and exactly a literal meaning of the word. But connotation and
Yes.
denotation are the direct meaning and indirect meaning, something that implied, but normally
Yes.
give a kind of negative meaning. Okay, connotation. So we should be careful about the connotation of the words. Otherwise, appropriacy and appropriateness of using the word doesn't occur. So I can use a word with some meaning that I have in my mind. Maybe it's correct, but when it comes to connotation, it's going to be wrong. Okay, meaning relationship. Okay, any question here? Connotation, pragmatic meaning, not exactly, dear doctor. Connotation is not the matter of pragmatic meaning, because even the denotation has some pragmatic meaning, because it's the matter of where and how it is being used. But thank you so much. And dear Amir, okay, connotation is two more words that often to collocation. Yes, yes, exactly, dear Amir. Thank you so much. Okay, yeah, you can talk about meaning relationships, synonyms, and more. Another one, antonyms. Yes, there's some relation and translation. Yeah, there's something that different aspect of a word and word formation. Surely you're familiar with prefix, suffix, root, and so on and so forth. They are not in the tolerance of this session. Surely you know this story better than me. Next slide, please, dear uh, friend. Okay. Yeah, dictionary meaning. Thank you so much, Dr. Aziz. Yeah. So look at the first actual. Oh, you learned my secret. Okay, yeah. Uh Here the first question is here. Uh You want to read the example of teacher language below. Each one shows a possible mistake that teachers might make when teaching vocabulary items. Decide what the mistake is. So you can see that 6 teachers are teaching 6 new words in their classes. But unfortunately, every single teacher has a problem with the new word, with that word. Just please look at read the sentences, how he or she teaches the word, and then tell me what the problem is. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, one meaning. Okay, when we talk about a lion, it means the animal, but it can mean a gorgeous person. Thank you, thank you. Exactly, robo. If I'm not mistaken. Thank you so much.
Raba, Raba, maybe
Raba,
maybe Raba.
yeah. إحسان.
Here
Okay.
in Arabic language, we have the letter but in English we write it as a.
Yes. Thank you so much for a nice lesson. Thank you so much.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank
You're welcome. Yeah. Look at this, please. It's a word that a teacher is. No, please, one back. Okay. Please don't show
you.
it. Thank
Sorry.
you so much. Okay. The new word is appraisal. The stress is in the I'm the teacher, I'm teaching. The new word is appraisal. The stress is on the second syllable. Okay, repeat after me, please, everyone. And you, as a students, I want to see some silence in my class. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, so everyone, can you tell me what's the problem with this word? That I say appraisal, okay? And I want to tell you the stress is on the first syllable, but I can see a silence in my class. And then one of the students says, what means? And a teacher says, okay, just repeat, appraisal. So what's the problem here with teaching this new word?
Maybe you said to them that the stress is in the second syllable, but you stressed the first syllable.
No, no, thank you so much, but no, it's not the answer. What's the problem with teaching
Yes.
this way? What's going to be the problem? Then later, after this part, I want to go through teaching 3 approaches of teaching vocabulary and some techniques. Then if I have time, I want to go through the games and gamification. But if
Maybe
not, dear President, if you can give me another session, maybe I can be lucky. I can talk about gamification for one full session.
inshallah. Of course, we are we welcome you, of
Thank
course.
you. Nice of you. And it would be my pleasure, actually, and my honor to be at
Thank you.
yours.
Yes. He didn't, the teacher didn't give them the root of the word. Here it is an
Uh-huh.
adjective.
Uh-huh. I
Maybe,
can see some
yeah.
answer. Spoon feeding, okay. Students repeat without understanding. Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Abdullah Mamdu. Thank you so much, okay. And the teacher should teach the word in a meaning. Thank you so much, Lina Rashid. Thank you. And doctor says new word without context. Yes, exactly. It is another problem here. And first,
Yes.
let's try to read and then read. The teacher should read. Okay. Thank you, Gulshan. Not exactly ask the students translation and meaning, but teacher focus on the pronunciation. Exactly. Thank you, Mordova. Yeah, the problem here is here. First meaning, then pronunciation. First meaning, then pronunciation. And without teaching the meaning, we shouldn't ask our students to repeat or go for drilling. But I have a question here. When we are teaching vocabulary or lexical resources, what are those 3 aspects that we should teach? Just tell me, please. 3 aspects of a word that when you want to start teaching, you need to teach. What they are? Just tell me, please. When you're teaching a new word, what aspect of a new word should be taught? Maybe my question is not clear. You're teaching a new word, okay? So what do you teach of that new word? You teach what?
The
You teach what?
synonyms, maybe.
Okay,
Synonyms.
yeah, meaning, yes.
Yes, the
Majda,
part of
Majda,
speech.
meaning. Thank you so much. It's the right one.
The part of speech.
Yeah,
The
one
part
is
of speech.
meaning. The meaning, the pronunciation. Thank you. Thank you.
The part of
Pronunciation and
speech.
usage. Thank you. Thank you so much. Form, pronunciation, and spelling. Thank you, dear doctor. Okay, stress. Thank you so much. I'm sure that you're
And
familiar.
maybe.
Yeah, thank you for your nice answer. Thank you so much. I have been impressed. Now, look at this. Yeah, my answer here, please. MFP. What does it stand for? MFP. What does it stand for? MFP. Meaning, form,
Pronunciation.
pronunciation. Exactly. So when we have a language lesson, it doesn't matter. It's going to be, thank you, dear doctor. Yes. It doesn't matter. It's going to be it's going to be a kind of grammar lesson or vocabulary lesson. We need to teach meaning, form, pronunciation. Thank you, my Isa. Okay, thank you so much. Meaning, form, and pronunciation need to be taught. It's a must. But which one is first? Meaning. And then pronunciation. And then form. So it's a very important aspect. Look at this word. The word needs to be concept check before it is drilled. Means no concept check because the students don't know the meaning. So how they're supposed, how they're expected to repeat the words. And it's a kind of meaningless, aimless activity in the class. And as a teacher, third generation of English teacher that you're familiar with, we are why teachers. We are not what teachers. We are not how teachers. In this new generation of English teachers around the world, we are why teachers. It means for each single activity that I'm doing and I'm implementing in my class, I should have a reason. I should have a goal. Why I'm doing that. Why my students are doing or are going to do such a thing in the class. And it should have some reasons and some rational and some logic. So it's a kind of wrong way of teaching this word, and I'm sure that now from here next word next slide, please, dear President. Thank you. Now look at this word. Okay, our 12th new word today. Who knows what we call someone whose job is take care of a building? So what's the problem with teaching of this word? You are teaching a new word and you tell your class, your students, that is the 12th word that we are teaching today, and then you give a definition to guess the words. What's the problem with this type of teaching a new word? Just tell me, please. Oh, thank you. No, I don't want to. The quality is much better. Thank you so much. Just please. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's great. It's great. Thank you so much. Now, please, can you tell me what's the problem with this style of teaching of a new word? Yeah, maybe we don't know the word itself. Yeah, they want to guess. No. Asking without guidance or scaffolding. No, dear my. No. Except the students tell you the new word instead of you teach the new word. Yeah, Lina, but actually I'm giving a definition and it's a kind of technique. As you're teaching a new word, you have 8 or 9 technique, and one of the techniques is teaching a new word is giving definition, and your students, you want to elicit, is the matter of elicitation from your class, okay? It's not possible to remember them without being in the context. Yeah, but it is in the context. It is a word list that some books have and you want to teach. The context is surely is important, but because here is just a technique and I'm talking about questioning, no problem. Questioning, and especially good questioning, is a very important, crucial strategy that teachers can put in practice as they're teaching, okay? So not a problem, not an issue here as well. Okay, so no warm-up. No, the warm-up has already been done. Okay, now you're in the middle, you're teaching the 12th word. Now from here, I want to shift actually to a new area of teaching the vocabulary and those three approaches that usually we should use and we should know in teaching vocabulary. So can you tell me how many approaches do you know in teaching vocabulary? As many as you know, please just type in the chat box. Maybe because a beginner, I don't use this strategy. Yeah, Lina, for beginner, the language should be graded and it's going to be important. But the problem is goes with the way that he or she or this teacher is presenting that later I will discuss it. But just tell me, guessing, context, game, pictures. Thank you, my Isa. Yeah, it's a nice answer. Some more approaches that maybe you know. Okay, crossword puzzle. There are some activities according to the level. Yeah, it's a matter of grading the language that you're using as a teacher in your class. Synonyms, antonym, picture. Doctor, it is not approach, it's technique, but it's okay. Word bingo. Another, you know lots of activities. Okay, very good. I should learn surely from you. Real, yeah, why not? Real objects, again, is a technique. I'm talking about the bottom up and top down approach. Is the matter of not in vocabulary, it's the matter of reading and listening that you want to use bottom up or top down or mix of both of them. Dear size is different. Maybe using picture games is kind of technique, it's not approach. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now I want to type to answer and you want to see, okay? Three approaches. Number one, I want to type. Number one, can everyone see it here? Communicative approach is a different story. It's the matter of method and approach, dear Rabbi, and it's fully a different story. Okay, when we talk about approaches and when we talk about method, the differences, and what's the goal of the communicative approach, and Halliday and Delheim's actually, and longest story that I'm not going to talk about it right now. Okay, so here, teacher-fronted elicitation. It's an approach that usually is being used by teaching the classes. Can you tell me a little about this approach and what it is? I give a 1 minute break. I will back. Just 1 minute. Dear President, am I?
Yes.
May I? May I leave for 1 minute?
Yes.
Just try to write as much as you know about this approach.
Yes, surely, surely.
Okay, I'm back. Thank you so much. Okay, teacher frontal elicited. Teacher put elicitation first without introducing the word through a guessing activity. Okay, and actually game or aiding picture. Okay, elicitation then comes and the students give the meaning. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a nice one. Okay, it was a kind of a little bit actually a mixture of something that's we want to talk here, but exactly, teacher-fronted elicitation is a very common, frequent approach that it is being used by teacher a lot in classes. You know, as a teacher, we stand in front of the class and there is a new word, so we start to give students to help our students to guess the meaning. For example, we give a synonym or antonym, or we show a picture, or we demonstrate, illustrate, illustration, demonstration, or we give a definition. So here I use different techniques. They are techniques. When I talk about illustration, demonstration, antonym, synonym, definition, exemplifying, all of them are techniques. They are strategies, but they are not approach. Collocation. Yeah, collocation is Wafajan. Dear Wafa is for next step actually, not here yet. Here you just want to help your student to guess the meaning. And when you do or you utilize, you use different strategies, techniques, and your student's gonna guess the meaning, it is called elicitation. Means you elicit the meaning from your class. How? By helping and challenging your students and their mind and activating their background knowledge or prior knowledge that they have. In this way, they want to guess maybe what the word is. But it is the most frequent type of approach that is being used frequently by teachers around the world in different classes. But there is a problem here. Normally, we use this approach and no problem. But when we have a number of words, means 4 or 5. Okay, when we have a limit number of words, it's okay. When you have 4, 5, 3, okay, yeah, it can be used. Yeah, for 4 or 5 words at most, it is okay to use teacher-fronted elicitation. But when the number of the words actually go beyond 5 or 6, it is not okay anymore to use this approach. Why? It's boring. Why? Because your teacher talk time gonna be so high, and you know, as a teacher, we should try to decrease our teacher talk time as much as possible. Great teachers nowadays in their classes don't talk that much. You know, it's a matter of teacher fronted or student fronted. Okay, now we talk about learner centered and teacher centered classes. So teacher fronted elicitation is a nice approach, but when you want to teach a limited number of words, okay, so I have a question. Yeah, is this approach frequent or not? Is it a frequent approach or no? Just type. Gulshan, how many words should we teach during a lesson lasting 9? It is up to the lesson, dear Gulshan. Okay, you are teaching and a lesson, and on that lesson maybe you are teaching a reading, so maybe you have a limit number of new words, 4, 5 at most, because the matter of core words or blocking words. But you have a listening lesson. So again, in a listening lesson, you have a limited number of words. So teacher-fronted elicitation again works. But you are teaching, for example, I don't know, a book, and today you have 10 to 15 new words. So teacher-fronted elicitation gonna be boring. Okay? Surely it's gonna be boring. Not only actually boring, but also actually really tiring for students. Okay, so it's up to the lesson, but 5 to 6 words for young students. No, you cannot give exact words. It's kids classes is different, because when when you talk about young learner, we have 3 levels of young learner. They are very young learner, ages actually between 4 to 8 or 3 to 7, and then 8 to 10 they are a young learner, and then we have adult young learner, and they're on 10 to 12. Okay, and they have different stories and different definitions actually. But when you talk about, you cannot give an exact number of words for a class, for a session, because the book that you're teaching today has a language lesson, it's a vocabulary lesson, and you want to teach, for example, 10 vocabulary, 10 new words. Even in some kids books like big fun books, in one lesson you can see 8 9 new words. Objects, for example, classroom objects. So what should I do? Should I start just demonstrating, just illustrating, and my students gonna guess the meaning? No. So what's the second approach? When the number of the vocabulary actually goes beyond actually 5 or 6, the best strategy simply gonna be learner centered. Oh, I cannot type here. Yeah. Yeah. And now it's going to be, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Wafa. Yeah. LCA. What does it stand for, LCA? Yeah, can you tell me exactly what you mean? Learner-centered activities. Yes, if you mean that, yeah, you're right. Something that I've written here. Learner-centered
Learner-centered approach.
approach or activities, even, because here is the matter of teaching is not the matter of exactly, yeah, you can use it, yeah, it's acceptable one. Learner-centered task or learner-centered activities. Now I have a question. You have a lesson. That lesson has 8, for example, top-notch fundamental A. I don't know, you're familiar with this book or no? The first lesson of top-notch fundamental A, it has 12 new words about jobs. 12 new words on the first page of the lesson. With learner-centered task, how do you want to start teaching? Tell me, please. What is a task that you can design for such activity? For such a lesson, sorry. Yeah? 12 new words you want to teach? Based on this approach, learner-centered task. So what is the best task here? Can you guess anything? Because you have 12 new words and you want to ask your students to do something actually to know them. Yeah, one person is raising her hand. Okay, dear Wafa. Yeah, Wafa, I'm at yours. You can
Yeah,
talk.
thank you very much. Good evening for everyone. I think it's very suitable here to show the students 12 pictures of different jobs. Then they can match the suitable job with a suitable picture. This is one.
Thank you so
Uh,
much. Now, one activity.
yeah.
Yes. More?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, dear Wafa. It's a nice activity, but again here I can see a little problem here. I'm so sorry to say that, but do you know what the problem here is? Again, our class gonna be teacher centered. I want to shift a little to learner centered. I want to ask my students to do something. I just want to decrease my teacher talk time. How? So brainstorming about jobs, then watch a video and match the, it's the matter of warm up. Picture with distribute, okay, persons with the picture I
Can I
distribute.
say something?
Yeah,
May
it's
I
a,
say?
may I say, yeah, you want to talk?
Okay. Thanks for giving me the chance.
Yeah.
What I will do, uh, just like as an example, if I have a word doctor, so I'll ask the students, just imagine you are sick. Where will you go? To whom you will go to take the treatment in this way. And if there is a word banker, so I ask the students, you have to deposit money. Where will you go? Of course, they will say bank. So who works in the bank? In this way, I will drag them to the exact words, exact jobs.
Okay.
Thank
Please,
you.
stay actually. Don't, I mean, mute your mic, actually. Please stay activate. It's a good strategy, dear Sia, if
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not
My name is Askia.
Asya. Okay, yeah. Dear
Thank
Asya,
you.
it's a nice strategy, it's a nice technique, but you have 10, 12 vocabulary, and if you want to give 12 definition or 12 actually prompt like this one, your teacher talk time doesn't go up? You don't think so?
No, I think they will give me the definitions. I'll just ask them.
They
You
will.
have to deposit
They,
money.
but
You have to
uh,
deposit money. Where will you
your
go?
your
They will.
students are just true beginners. How they can give you definition? Even they can't start, they can't introduce themselves very well, because top-notch fundamental A lesson one is for those students who are false or true beginners, and even they don't have any level. So they are not able to talk, even to give you such a long definition about, for example, even they have some problem with their listening. Okay, so there are some good strategies that if your students gonna talk to each other, give some definition, guess the words, gonna be okay. But we
Okay.
can do something very easy here. You have
Okay, I
10
can
pictures.
show them the pictures. I can show them the pictures. Like
Yes,
if there is a doctor, I can show them
yes,
the picture of hospital. Like, what is this? Of course, they will
yes.
know this is
Now I want
hospital.
to do.
Who works here?
Do you
Who
know?
works
Do you know,
here?
dear Wafa, dear Asya? Do you know what I mean here? Instead of being in the center, as a teacher, we should try to stand aside, help your
Yeah.
students. I mean, give this confidence to your students to do something together. Simply, you can give them a group work, as dear Wafa said here. Well, what is the group work? 10 pictures cut up, 10 words cut up. Put students, for example, you have a class of 15 students, put them in 3, 5 groups, or 5, 3 groups. Give each group one actually pack of words and one pack of picture that you have already prepared as you were doing your lesson plan. Okay, then you want to ask your students, hey, you want to match this picture to the words. You have, for example, 5 minutes, working groups, and meantime, what I do as a teacher, I monitor and I give them some help. But they are some
Mm,
people that doing the job, working with each other, and those shy, even those shy students are gonna be challenged and gonna be actually encouraged to have some more involvement in class activities. I think any suggestion should consider the level. Surely, Araba, okay, the level is gonna be really important. Because of that, I said you have picture and words, and every single person that comes to a class, for example, he or she has a diploma and she want to start, for example, talking, she has some knowledge of reading or writing, so she can do such an easy task. But even here, they are doing something. You are standing aside, helping them with their problem, and it is a symbol of a society that they want to be later. But let them do, because we as a teacher, we suppose, or maybe we believe with our explanation our students gonna learn, but really it is not. Let them do something and they will learn better. And as a famous saying, uh, when you tell me I forget, when you teach me I memorize, when you involve me, I learn. So try to involve our students. So when the number of the vocabularies actually go beyond 5 or 6, try to use some tasks. And those tasks gonna be in pair work or group works. And you wanna give a chance to your students to do, okay? Because always as a teacher, I'm talking about myself. Now I have talked a lot, and I actually I talked your head off. I'm so sorry, but really too much explanation doesn't work. Let our students do something in our class. It is something that really works. Okay, thank you so much. And what is the next strategy? It's going to be, okay, guessing. Yeah, it's another strategy, the final, I mean, the third strategy that usually we can use, guessing in the context is such a kind of typo. I'm so sorry. You know, this here, sometimes you're teaching a reading section. I have a question here. Yeah, someone is raising hand. Yeah, dear Asya.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. Mubarak Ali here. Thanks for your invaluable insights, sir. Will you just repeat it once again? No, what you said? When you involve me, I will learn. That quote is excellent one. Will you repeat it once again for us, no, please?
I'm so sorry, I didn't catch you very well. Dear
I think you just said no. When you involve me, you will learn. When you put me into engage things, you just continue. No,
when you tell me, I forget.
Yeah.
When you
he wants
tell
you
me,
to repeat this quotation.
When you tell me,
please go ahead. Okay.
When you tell me, I forget. When you teach me,
Okay,
I
next.
memorize. When you teach me, I
When you
memorize.
teach
Teach me, yes.
I will memorize. Okay.
I memorize. When you involve me, I learn.
When you involve me,
I learn.
I will learn.
Yeah, I will learn. Yes.
Sir, I love you, sir. Thanks a lot. It's a good learning for me. I love you, sir. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome. Okay. I don't have my slide, dear President. Is it possible to have my slide again or no? What's the problem? And how much do we have, dear President?
Yes, there is the slideshow. Can't you hear? Can't you see it?
Yeah, I'm here in down. Now it's okay. It's okay.
Tips of teaching Vixes.
Yeah.
Maybe in 10 to 15 minutes in order to let them ask you if there is any question, please.
Yeah, sure. Because it's lots of things, but because lots of things that I need to share with you. But for tonight, I think it's enough because I've talked too much, and maybe our dear participants actually got tired of my talking that much. I'm so sorry. Really, I'm so sorry.
Yes, maybe we will have you next week, inshallah, if you are
Inshallah.
ready.
I'm at yours. I'm at yours.
Continue, but you okay? But please, in 10 minutes, try to finish in order to let them ask you some questions.
Yeah, surely I don't promise, dear President, to finish in 10 minutes because I'm just from my 70 slides, I've just managed 10 or less. I mean, and it's a long way to be finished. We can continue later. It's my actually my problem because I should manage my time because my first session with you and dear friends that I got familiar with, it was a kind of issue for me, and surely for I mean next sessions I try to manage my time as well as the slide that I want to share with you, but I try to share as much as I know with you all dear lovely friends here, and it was a great honor for me.
Yes, sorry, but because not only from Arab words we have participants, but also there are some other ones from non-Arab world. Okay, so the time is so late for them. Please, in 10 minutes, and we will continue, inshallah, next week.
Okay, sure. It would be much better. Just so, 3 approaches in teaching vocabulary: teacher-fronted elicitation, learner-centered tasks, as well as actually guessing meaning in the context. For example, you are teaching a reading, okay? When you're teaching a reading as a receptive skill, because teaching reading or listening are such a lessons that we call them receptive skill teaching. So on the steps of teaching reading or listening, usually the first step going to be warm up, as you know better than me, and the second step, not necessarily always, but sometimes you want to have a pre-teaching of some vocabulary, okay? Some pre-teaching pre-teaching of some vocabulary. So for pre-teaching of the vocabulary, for actually a reading or listening session, can you tell me how many new words should we teach actually in this stage for pre-teaching of the new vocabulary? How many new words should we teach? You are teaching a new reading to your students. For example, it's about pollution. Your students are pre-intermediate, or your students are, I don't know, upper intermediate, and you're talking about, for example, a listening, and this listening is about, I don't know, a potential flatmate, or describing yourself in 3 adjectives. After warm up, you want to go through some pre-teaching of the vocabulary. How many new words? Yeah, approximately 8 to 10, Gulshan. Gulshan, too many. Too many, Gulshan. No, no, Asya, too many. 10 to 15 is too many. Pre-teaching of core words or blocking words. Those words that they are the most actually frequent of the words. They are topic words. They are theme words. Exactly. Not more than 10. No, they're just about 3 to 4. At most, at most. Yeah, 3 to 4 gonna be good enough. Thank you, doctor. Yeah, at most 5. So I just want to have a pre-teaching of the 5 words that they're blocking words. If my students don't know the meaning of those words, they can't understand and they can't comprehend the whole meaning of the reading text. Not each single new word. Yeah, 3 Asya is enough, exactly. 3 to 4 to 5 at most, but 3 to 4 is that normal. So you want to teach, you want to go through other steps of teaching, reading, and listening. That is not our today's session topic, but there you can see some new words that maybe some of your students say, hey, teacher, what does it mean? What does it mean? What does that mean? And you here, you can you can ask your student to try to guess the meaning of those vocabulary by some surrounding words, but you should teach them how to do guessing, because by themselves they don't know how to guess. But when they guess the meaning of those new words, actually, that they want to already know how they can do it. For example, by surrounding words, by coordinators, I don't know, by some connectors, by some apposition, for example, and different 10 or 12 different techniques that we know when we want to guess the meaning of a new word. Even for high school students, yes, Gulshan. Uh, Even for high school students, we shouldn't do that mistake to teach them lots of new words. And really, it's a big mistake. Don't make such a big mistake. After that, after this stage, for another stage, you can ask your students to underline the new words. For example, I underline 10 new words, another students 8, another students 11, another students 9. Then put them in pair. So try to help each other with the new words. Maybe in this part I have 10, she has, for example, 8. We can guess at actually, we can know, for example, 5 of those new words, and just we have 5. And as step by step, as we go forward, we can guess the meaning of those new words together. And as a teacher, I don't need to go through teaching those new words. It's a big mistake again that usually teacher make when they're teaching uh, new words, and they, especially reading and listening, and they want to teach every single word in a text. That's kind of fatal mistake, and surely again, it's a matter of increasing teacher talk time. Okay. Uh, so about 3 approaches, and I want to stop here because if I want to go to the next part, it's gonna take long, and I prefer to continue for next session classes talks about the steps of teaching Lexis as well as different games Yeah, different games that we can use. Yeah, I'm here to answer any question that you have.
Thank you very much. It was very fruitful presentation. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. Now, if there is any question, please, you can raise your hand.
Yeah, I'm at yours for any kind of question that maybe you have, okay? Yeah, I think to Asia and Wafa, they have some questions. Raise their hand.
Yes.
Okay, I'm at yours for
Asia,
question.
please. Go ahead. Miss Asia. Miss Asia, you are raising your hand. If there is any question, please go ahead. Miss Asia. Miss Asia, can you hear me? طيب Miss Wafa. Miss Wafa.
Good evening for everybody. It's
Good
not a
evening.
question. I just like to thank you, Mrs. Shawqia. So first of all, I'd like to thank you very much, Dr. Zamani, Mrs. Shawqia, for this wonderful lecture. It's very important for the teacher to know how to teach the vocabulary. I think Mr. Zamani, Dr. Zamani, he mentioned many great ideas. I think also the suitable way for teaching vocabulary is in real life situations, in real context, in retelling a story also. Also, we can add here some graphic organizers, and also in addition to the games. So gaming is very important here for the teacher, for the students, for everyone to learn the vocabulary in a simple and suitable and funny way. So it's very important here to focus on learner-centered approach, on in a good atmosphere, in groups, in pairing, in encouraging our students just to try to know the meaning, to form suitable and true sentences. Also through pictures, we say it's. I think it's a French proverb though. One picture equals 1,000 words. So it would be very important here to show them also some pictures to match the words with the pictures. Thank you very much again, Dr. Zamani. Thank you very much, Mrs. Shawqia.
Yeah, explanation exactly, and clarification and elaboration.
Thank you very much.
But in one full session, I can have a gamification session, online and in person, different activities. It's about 34, 35 different types of activities that we can use for different levels, and maybe you can find them interesting. It is a full session of my normal workshop that usually I do. It's online or in person, and it would be my honor to have this session with you lovely great teachers as well, if
many thanks for you, Doctor. Thank you very much. Many thanks for you. Many thanks for you, Mrs. Shawqia and Mrs. Dina.
Thank you, Miss Wafa. You are very nice and great director. Thank you very much for your joining us and for your comments. Thank you. Now, Mr. Amir, please go ahead with your inquiry.
Yeah, thank you for your nice and wonderful lecture. And my question is, what's your point of view, or your what you call the best way of teaching vocabulary, according to your opinion?
Yeah, there is a very nice article by Prabhu, the famous Indian linguist. Okay, and I recommend that every teacher should read this paper. There is no best method. Why? It's a great paper that I suggest reading that strongly. It's a kind of really highly recommended. Really, there is no best method, dear Ali, dear Amir. It's you. as a teacher, you are the decision maker of your own class. But when we talk about teacher-fronted elicitation, when we talk about learner-centered task, when we talk about guessing words in the context, all it refers to the atmosphere of the class and making decision on the spot. But when the number of the vocabulary is limited, teacher-fronted elicitation is the best strategy. When you have more than 6 or 7 vocabulary and you have a vocabulary lesson, one lesson is vocabulary lesson. Today you want to teach some new words. Learner-centered task is the best strategy. When you have a listening and reading actual lesson and you're teaching reading and listening, and meantime, there are some new words that your students don't need to know the meaning, but they can guess the meaning. Guessing in the context can be the best strategy. But
Oh,
again,
thank you.
say you,
Thank
okay?
you. Yes, I
There
got
is
it.
no
Yes.
best method. Why? It's you as the teacher.
Please,
Thank
doctor,
you.
we
Thank
need
you,
your
Mr.
emails
Amir.
and
Sure.
WhatsApp, okay? And
It's my
please
WhatsApp.
provide us with this paper, right?
Yeah, sure. I have the paper. I will share with you, dear Miss, dear
Mr.
President. Yeah,
Amir.
Inshallah.
yeah.
Oh, thank you very much for your great effort.
It is my
Thank you,
WhatsApp
Mr.
number.
Amir, for joining
It's my
us.
WhatsApp number, and it's my
Yes.
my Instagram page, and this is my email.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And I want to congratulate you, Mr. Behzad Zamani from Iran, from Arab English Teachers Association as a president. I congratulate you for this great webinar and for this outstanding contribution and delivering this webinar titled with Using Games in Teaching Vocabulary, and hope you all the best of luck. And also, I want to thank all of the participants from all over the world for their joining us and for their fruitful comments and interaction. Thank you very much. Now, if there is any question, you can also go ahead. Yes, Miss Haneen, please go ahead. Miss Haneen.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum
I
assalam wa
want to ask,
rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I want to ask Mr. Zamani if he allow to us to send his YouTube site or Facebook site to get more of his knowledge.
Yes, thank
Sure.
you for
Sure, why not? I'm at yours. I will share with the president, and he can share. Surely she can share with
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Why not? Why not?
Inshallah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ya Miss Hani.
Welcome.
Thank you. Mr.
Thank you.
Mubarak, go ahead, please.
Yeah, dear Mubarak.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. I'm Mubarak Ali from India. First of all, thanks for your
Welcome,
invaluable
Mr.
insights.
Mubarak.
Extending my sincere thanks to organizers for this opportunity. My question, sir, how will you
very
learn
much.
and
Thank you.
thank you, man. How will you learn and improve the vocabulary and the pronunciation? Any special advice for us, sir?
Dear, I don't know your name, but I
Mubarak Ali from India.
From India. Nice, great accent that you have. Thank you. But can you repeat your question again one more time, please?
How will you learn and improve the vocabulary and the pronunciation? Any advice for us?
How can we learn? I don't get the word before.
No,
how we can
vocabulary
how will
and
you
pronunciation.
Yeah, how will you learn and improve?
How you can learn and improve? Yes, it's a
yes.
You know, you mean that you want to expand your island of reliability of new words? Yeah, you know, there are different research that when my students or me as a teacher, when I learn a new word, from the time that I face with that vocabulary to the time that I want to use it automatically, I need to be faced with that new word between 10 to 16 times. It's not my word, it's research based. So if you are going to learn a new word, you need to be faced with that vocabulary in different situation, different text and context, to come to a level to use it frequently and easily. And for learning the new words, after learning the meaning, yeah, you read the right level of the word, that it is going to be in the level of my mind, because it's going to be really important. If my level is pre-intermediate, upper intermediate, or advanced vocabulary doesn't agree with me, and really I can't learn them very easily. And number two, you want to record those vocabulary in a notebook, but in a sentence, not as a single word, in a sentence, and try to start repeating and reviewing the words regularly for 2 or 3 times, or 2 or 3 days, is better to say. 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes. But the key point is here, dear Mubarak. The key point in learning the vocabulary, improving, and actually expanding your knowledge of vocabulary is here, that you should expand and elaborate on the new words. You know, because many English learners they try to learn a new word, take a note of it, and just try to repeat it 2, 3, or 4 times, and surely it doesn't suffice. It's not enough. For example, there is an example here. You are facing this new word. Their house is spacious. Spacious is the new word, and you have learned this in a sentence. Their house is spacious. So, what is the next good strategy? Is the matter of expansion and elaboration. After 2 or 3 times repetition, you need to elaborate, you need to expand. For example, you can say their house is spacious and well lit. And the next time you want to add, for example, some other information. Their house is very spacious and well lit. It is situated, for example, in one of the most picturesque areas of the city, and more and more. And in this way, and finally, is the matter of personalization. You need to personalize that new word. So, step by step, you want to acquire. Otherwise, always we have a limited number of the vocabulary that we cannot put them in practice easily. Again, it's a long story. I hope I could answer your question.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, dear President. And we have some problem in Teams exactly.
Yes.
And
thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for your invitation, and thanks for giving me the chance to be here. And hope I can have another chance to be at yours. And thanks for your certificate, nice appreciation certificate that you have shared with me. And I would be appreciated if you can send me on my WhatsApp page as a memory of this session.
Inshallah. Thank you very much. Thank you. It was very fruitful, very engageable, and very amazing information. Thank you all. Thank you all for participants from all over the world. And hope to meet you another time. Wait us for the next Inshallah week. Thank you. Thank you.
Have a great time. Have a great time, everybody, and thanks for tolerating tonight. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.